It is 10 o'clock Eastern time, and we're going to take a look at the markets now. We're a half hour into the trading day, and it's clear the global uncertainty over Trump's sweeping tariffs are still rattling investors. Now, stocks are plunging once again. This as Donald Trump, speaking on Air Force One last night to reporters, showed no signs of backing down on his tariffs.
We will be taking in over $1 trillion over the next short period of time with the tariffs that I've already instituted. They're already in place. Now, what's going to happen with the market, I can't tell you, but I can tell you our country has gotten a lot stronger.
So Trump posted a short time ago that countries from all over the world are now talking to the U.S., including Japan, who's sending a team to Washington for trade talks. But once again, Trump singled out China for its trade policies. Let's turn now for more analysis from BNN Bloomberg's Andrew Bell. Andrew, as we take a look at the markets, and by the way, good Monday morning to you. As we take a look at the markets, things are improving a little bit. Yeah. We're off our earlier lows. Give us your sense of what is happening right now with investors.
Just turmoil, because this is such a radical policy change by the United States. It's essentially saying every trading partner is cheating on us. I saw Peter Navarro, a senior advisor to President Trump and a trade militant, on this morning on CNBC, and he's pretty well anything the Americans want, they're characterizing as a trade barrier, including value-added sales taxes like the GST, because they say, well, the money from that's used to subsidize industries. So at this stage, as your clips from President Trump indicated, they're not backing down. Also, though, as you said, the markets seem to have recovered slightly from their lows. Now, earlier, we saw the S&P 500 down more than 4%. I want to give you an update now, but last time I checked, it was down about 2%. Oil ugly, though, ugliness in the oil market. We saw WTI, West Texas Intermediate, hitting $60 US. So this precipitous sell-off is continuing today.
Andy, a lot of people wondering if there is a mechanism to be used if this hits a certain level. Can you talk to us about circuit breakers and when they're used?
They will bring in the circuit breakers if this continues, but we haven't seen yet. I mean, the TSX now down, latest I saw, down around 1.5%. They haven't brought them in yet, and they're going to be loath to do it. They may have to, but it reduces the credibility of the markets when you rig the dice like that, saying, oh, well, it's dropped enough now, we're going to slow it down. But they may well have to go to that. But as I say, the markets have come off their lows of the day. I'm just looking at the 10-year bond yield in America. That's interesting. People have been actually selling some bonds today. So it looks like, I don't think it's a panic right now. And as I say, the markets have come off their lows of the session, but there's a lot of pessimism out there.
So a lot of people worried about what they should do now. Get out, buy. What's your advice?
You know, it depends what kind of investor you are. If you do like to trade, if you feel you can predict things, go ahead. I mean, there's a case to be made to dump all your stocks right now and just go to a money market fund. I mean, there's a strong case to be made, but for myself, I'm kind of a believer in quantum theory, and this has nothing to do with quantum theory, but I know if I sell all my stocks, immediately the market will go up after that. So personally, I know I sound so boring, and this is the kind of line that Bay Street likes to give you, oh, steady as she goes, but I have loads of bonds in my portfolio, loads of boring stuff. I have some stocks. I'm just going to stick with it because I think it's unpredictable right now. I mean, the sun is going to rise tomorrow. There will be major disruption. But we know, incidentally, this S&P 500 did briefly this morning, by my calculation, enter a 20% decline from its record high. If the market goes down 20% and stays down, we know that corporate America will turn up the heat on Trump and his team, and they may well have to back down. It'll be couched in, oh, we're postponing our measures, etc. So the problem with selling your stocks is when the market rises, it tends to rise abruptly, and you'll be at risk of missing out on that.
Well, you sort of, I know I'm keeping you long. I've just got one last point to make. You touch on something that people still are confused about, and maybe this ventures more into the political analysis as opposed to the financial analysis, but what's Trump's endgame here? Does he want to use this as a negotiating tactic? He's bragging about how many countries are approaching the U.S. now. Or is he really a believer in these tariffs?
It's a bit of both, and I'm sorry, that's a very much like an economist. They're famous on the one hand, on the other hand. Apparently, during the war, Winston Churchill told the civil servants, "I don't want any memos saying, well, we could do this, but no, I want you to tell me what you think you should do." In any case, economists never do that. In any case, it does look as though Trump is sticking to this vision, which some people say is outdated and anachronistic, of having America a world center for manufacturing. I mean, there's a good reason the factories left America. It's just not competitive as a place to make stuff anymore. Same with Canada. So that's part of it, this sort of vision of America in the 40s and 50s as a huge manufacturing hub. But there's no doubt as well, with the aggression of these tariffs, it is partly a negotiating tactic. It's sort of like when I remember buying a carpet in Istanbul years ago. It just took all day, and I was so tempted to just threaten to walk out of the store. We finally bought the carpet.
There you go. There's a metaphor there.